And I would love to know if everyone can hear, if you can hear me. If you can hear me, please indicate. All right, Miss Summer can hear. Miss Summer can hear. That's interesting. Okay. Someone else has been admitted into the class. So we can start right away. All right. As I often say, whenever we come to class, the exam you're about to write by next month in April, okay, is an important exam that you should give your best to. Remember, we had an agreement that at least your target for this exam is 300 and above. You should be ready and willing to score 300 and above and score 85 in English. Okay, 85 in English, plus other subjects you're writing, chemistry, physics, biology, mathematics, economics, and so on. Okay, so we have not gone back on that agreement. We are still standing on it. So everything we are doing, all the topics JAM has asked us to treat is for your own good, so that when you go for this exam, you give it everything, all your best, so that you achieve that desired goal of yours, right? By the time you make 300, 305, 306, 320, 340 in this exam is something that can earn you a place in the university of your choice, all right? So that's why I'm pleading with you. Any class we have or we've had, I need you to go back, revise the material that was sent, revise it, treat it again. They are not much, but they are carefully selected. All the topics we are treating, they are carefully selected, targeted at the exam and the various questions you are going to see in the exam, right? So today, as I told you last week, that we are going to be treating common usage errors, the word classes of English, and common usage errors. These are the aspects of English you're going to find under lexis and structure, all right? As I gave you the scheme of work some time ago, that under lexis and structure, there are so many things that will come to play, apart from the passages you're going to read, all right? You're going to have antonyms, synonyms, you're going to have question tag, you're going to have prepositions, you will see questions on adjectives, on the use of pronoun, you will see questions on the right concord, verb tenses, okay? Aspects, number, person, mood. There are questions coming from those areas. And of course, oral English. You will also see questions from that angle. So let's today talk about the word classes and the usage errors that often occur, right? If you look at the title for the subject English, it says JAM use of English. So it means that JAM have a particular usage of English. English is a language that is used like a tool to communicate ideas, concepts, feelings, thoughts. and to pass across messages of all sorts in human relation and interaction until you understand how to use and apply English in your daily conversations, whether it's written or spoken. You will continuously be poor at it. There are no two ways about it. And the essence of this summary, because what I'm going to give us here is the summary of word classes in English. All right. So I want to bring that to your notice. All the usage errors that occur every day as you use English, that you may think, oh, this expression is correct. In Nigerian use of English, it may be correct. But in standard British English, which you're required to write and speak, is incorrect. All right? I will keep emphasizing so that you don't go to the exam and pick a wrong option. I'll keep saying it. The American English expression is different from Nigeria. The Nigerian English expression is different from British, and British English expression is different from both America and Nigeria. Every word that occurs in a sentence belongs to one class or another. There is no doubt, therefore, that familiarity with these classes, their characteristics and different functions, and the way they interact will help you to construct better sentences. The word classes of English are the nouns, you know that, the pronouns, the adjectives, determiners, verbs, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. All right? Most classifications of parts of speech exclude determiners, which is not supposed to be, because determiners are also parts of the word classes we use. All right? Now, we talk about nouns. A noun is the name of a person. You know that already. You understand? All right? A noun is a word that has the following characteristics. It can occur in the position immediately before and immediately after the verb in a sentence. You know that. Examples are given. The dash is good. Can say the boy is good. All right? We saw a cat. It has a plural ending. Take note. It has a plural ending. Example, boys, churches, children, women. Okay? It also has a possessive form. Olu's book, the girl's handbag. It can be preceded by a noun marker such as a, an, the, his, my, this, those, several, many, as in a book, my pen, those apples, several students. All right? Those are just examples that I need you to take note of. Now, there are forms of noun. What are the forms that noun come? Noun have 4 grammatical forms, namely the singular possessive, the plural possessive. Okay? So you have the singular boy, you have the plural boys, you have the singular possessive boys, and you have the plural possessive boys. You can see where I inserted the preposition, the apostrophe to indicate to you, because sometimes students run into trouble when questions like this come up. All right. So for you to look at where the plural form is, look at what plural indicates. Boys without apostrophe. That's a plural form of the plural noun. Look at the singular possessive, boys. Look at the apostrophe after the Y, okay? Now look at plural possessive. Plural possessive, the apostrophe comes after the S, indicating plural, one, and is possessive in nature, all right? So you need to take note of that. The singular form refers to one. We all know that. Whereas the plural form refers to more than one, okay? We make a singular noun plural by adding S. We know that ES at the end of the word. So that you can look into later. What we are really interested in is the usage, how we use this how we use the word classes. How do we use nouns? Okay. Then look at the regular and irregular plurals, which also occur and at times cause confusion in English. Look at this example. To add en and ren. Ox, we have oxen. Children, you have child, we have children. Some change the vowel sound within the word. Example, man, we have men. Foot, we have feet. Some change the final F or FE to VE and then add S. Example, have. You have halves. Knife, you have knives. Then you have some add no ending at all. Aircraft is just aircraft. Sheep is just sheep. Deer is deer. Species is just species. So you cannot add to it. So take note. Finally, some can occur with or without the plural ending. Fish, herrings, eggs, and so on and so forth. So take note of that. Now you also have the singular possessive. In the singular possessive, to indicate that it is singular and it is possessive, there are some words that have naturally S in them. Okay? When a noun occurs in the possessive form, it indicates ownership. Don't forget. In writing, the singular possessive form is marked by an apostrophe followed by S. I've explained that before. Now look at the examples. Boys, teachers, dogs. Note that if the noun naturally ends in S, as I mentioned, the additional S of possessive is retained in writing if it is pronounced, but dropped if it is not. Look at James, all right? By the time I say James, you will know James naturally has an S. So in writing, we indicate the apostrophe S. But in speaking, we don't really say it. Look at the words such as Jesus. Jesus normally has an S in the end. Moses has an S in the end. So in writing, look at, we dropped the apostrophe S. Okay? We only added the apostrophe, but no S to attached with it. And so many other examples that you can see. Now, common usage errors of nouns. That this is where we are. Common usage errors. By the time you finish learning this, okay, I need to admit someone. Admitted Momo. By the time you finish learning this, it's not just for the forthcoming exam, all right? It's for other purposes. Among Nigerians, the commonest errors in the use of nouns include the following. One, the use of non-count nouns in the same way as count nouns. A lot of times you pluralize non-count nouns. We stated earlier that non-count nouns do not make a distinction between singular and plural. Instead, they are usually treated as singular. Therefore, they should not occur with the following. All right? They should not occur with the following. I'm sure you can still see my screen. Number one, the plural end in S. Number two, the indefinite article a or an. Number three, the numerals 1, 2, 3. Number four, quantifiers such as many, few, several. Okay, so they should not occur with these aspects we've mentioned. By the time you attach this with them, then it will be wrong or few. It will be wrong or few. The following few of non-count nouns often erroneously make plural or misused in one or more of the other ways by many Nigerian speakers of English. Look at this. Please do not attach S to this word. Do not pluralize these words. Advice is advice. You don't have advices. Ammunition, you don't have ammunitions. Baggage, you don't have baggages. Behavior is behavior. Cutlery cutlery. Electorate, electorate. Equipment is equipment. We don't have equipments. No. We don't have what? Equipments. We only have equipment. We have furniture. We have hardware, information, jargon, jewelry, junk, keys and kin. You have luggage, potential, personnel, slang, software, stationery, underwear. We don't add S to this word. Take note, never you in any regard add an S to these words you're looking at. I've shown to you. No, they don't take, we don't have slangs. No, we only have slang. We don't have personnels. You have personnel. We don't have potentials. No, you have potential. We don't have luggages. We only have luggage. We don't have furnitures. So you cannot say, we have so many furnitures at home. No, we have furniture. Furniture is furniture. You don't have equipments. We have equipment. So take note of this. It's important. All right. Now look at this. To refer to specific instances of non-count nouns, you should use what is called partitives. These are words that denote part of a collective whole. Thus, you should say an item of furniture instead of one furniture, a piece of advice instead of an advice. All right? So you say a piece of information, some information. All right? We cannot count information. We cannot pluralize equipment. We cannot pluralize furniture. So we say an item of furniture, all right? Not one furniture. A piece of advice, some pieces of advice, not advices. That would be wrong, all right? So look at count noun and non-count noun. They count sense, all right? Abuses, misuse, capital set of, all right? Sometimes you say abuses, okay? You have staff. Somebody say, I'm a staff. You are a member of staff. Member of staff. Can you see? That's a proper use. Member of staff. All right? So take note of this, and ensure that you use these nouns correctly. The second one is the omission of determinants, especially articles before singular nouns. That is another error of usage of noun. Omission of determinants, especially articles before singular nouns. Where you have singular nouns, you are expected to attach partitives, attach determinants to it. You don't leave the noun standing alone. All right, a determinant should always precede the singular form of a count noun. But many Nigerians frequently miss such determinants, especially articles. These articles, A, N, T, H, E, as in the following. Look at this. He asked me to have seat. He asked me to have seat. We were asked to fill form. You know, students talk this way. We were asked to fill form. The teacher gave us assignment. We are writing first term examination. This is all wrong. All right? This is all, it should be, he asked me to have a seat. We were asked to fill out a form or to fill in a form. The teacher gave us an assignment. We are writing our first term examination. We are writing our first term examination. So take note of that. It's important. The next one, we move on to the pronoun. Okay, the pronouns and the usage errors, all right, involved. You know what a pronoun is. I'm just skimming through this because I know you're going to get this slide and you take out your time to study them well. the pronouns I, me, we, us, you, he, him, she, her, they, them, it. All right? They are all used in the place of persons' names, the names of people. They are personal pronouns. They can be personal pronouns because their distinctive forms identify the noun they stand for as a person speaking. You know, we have first person, all right? I, me, we, us, our. That's first person. And we have second person, you, your, yours. And then we have the third person, okay, which is the person spoken about, represented with he, him, his, she, her, hers, they, them, theirs. These are all pronouns. Their usage is what is interesting to us, all right? Their usage, how we use them. We have interrogative pronouns, we have demonstrative pronouns, we have indefinite pronouns. Those indefinite pronouns are the ones that oftentimes students misuse, okay? Students misuse those indefinite pronouns. When you hear somebody say, when you hear somebody say, they are calling you, they are calling you, of course, is not pointing to anybody. It's not referring to anybody in particular. When you use they to start to begin your sentence, they are calling you should be you are called, right? You are called. Indefinite pronouns such as anyone, someone, each, all right? So those words indicate indefiniteness in the use of pronoun. Okay, look at this. For the singular, look at this. Singular, you have anybody, nobody, neither, another, anyone, no one little, anything, nothing, something less, everyone, everybody, someone, somebody, each, either, much. All right? And that's the reason you cannot use this word much for persons. It would be wrong to say there are so much people in our house. No, you can't have so much people in your house. Exactly. You cannot have so much people in your house. You can only have too many people. Many. All right? Many is used to count objects such as people. Count items such as people. All right? So let's move on. Everyone in this room is welcome. Okay? Neither of them wants to go. Now look at the plural. Both, few, fewer, several, many, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Both were acceptable. Both were acceptable. Few were acceptable. All right? Few were acceptable. You can use any of that. Okay? You can use any of this to indicate plurality. You can also see many. You know, I talked about many, okay, to indicate plurality. I also talked about many. 2, 3, 4. You can use that to denote, to count, to show that there are many, okay? Both singular and plural, you can have any. You can have any to indicate both singular and plural. You can have some, enough, more, most, all, plenty. All is not well. Can you see? All have arrived. All have arrived. You can see when I say all have, because I'm indicating plurality, I use the plural verb. All I have. I did not say all has arrived. All have arrived. Okay, so take note of that. It's important. Then we have reflexive pronouns. We have reciprocal pronouns. Okay, reflexive pronoun, myself, herself, yourself, themselves, ourselves, himself, herself, itself. Those are reflexive, right? So we have reciprocal pronouns, okay? Also here for us, reciprocal, that's giving back. Look at this. The two boys blamed each other. Each boy held the other boy responsible. That's the meaning. Sometimes say the two boys blamed themselves. What does that mean? It means each boy held himself responsible. But when you say the two boys blame each other, it means the first boy held the second boy responsible, and the second boy held the first boy responsible. So take note of that, because these are the common questions you find. We also have relative pronouns, intensive pronouns as well. This is where I want us to really pay attention, right? Other aspects of the pronoun are not treated in this lesson. There are many other aspects of pronoun that are not covered. But what I want you to note is the usage errors, the errors that occur, the mistakes, the errors you commit when you use pronoun. And when you see pronouns used in questions, objective questions, you run into problem. You don't know, oh, this is the right option I need to pick. You should learn to avoid the following common errors in the use of pronouns. Number one, failing to make the pronoun agree with its antecedent in case. All right? The simple rules we have just laid down, of course, for agreement, we talked about it, right? The verb, noun, agreement, subject, verb, agreement. The same thing when it comes to pronoun, the pronoun should agree with the verb. You know that the pronoun stands in the place of the subject, the actor, the performer of the action. You understand? So the verb should agree with the pronoun. The correct pronoun is enclosed in brackets after each sentence. You're going to see it. Now look at these examples. The teacher sent Olu and I to the bookshop. Normally, this sentence will not really look like it's wrong. The teacher sent Olu and I to the bookshop. It should be the teacher sent Olu and me to the bookshop. Okay? So where you have I, you replace it with me, right? Because it has to agree with its antecedent. Number two, it was me who sent for you. It was me who sent for you. The correct expression should be, it was I who sent for you. It was I who sent for you. Number three, I hate him snoring so loudly at night. The right thing should be, I hate his snoring so loudly at night. I hate his snoring. So remove him and insert his. The next one, Musa invited my friend and myself to go out with he and his fiancée. It should be Musa invited me and Musa invited my friend and me to go out with him and his fiancée. So take note. You take your time to go through, to read all of these examples. Now, number two, usage error of pronoun is using reflexive pronoun in the place of reciprocal pronouns. Okay? Reflexive pronouns. The pronouns that has to do with self, myself, himself, themselves, ourselves, and then reciprocal pronoun each. Okay? So oftentimes students misuse this pronoun. You misplace them. You misplace them. Look at this example. Amina and her roommate have not been talking to themselves since they quarreled. you know, you talk like this. Say, they have not been talking to themselves, so they have not been talking to themselves at all since they fought last time. No, it should be Amina and her roommates have not been talking to each other since they quarreled. Amina and her roommates have not been talking to each other, not themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, let us get together to know ourselves better. This is wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, let us get together to know ourselves better. When you say to know ourselves better, it means I should know myself better. You should know yourself better. Another person should know himself better. All of us gathered there, everyone, know yourselves better. But it should be, ladies and gentlemen, let us get together to know one another. One another because we are more than two. One another because we are more than three. We are more than six. Do you understand? If it was two persons involved, we will say each other. Let us know each other better because there are only two involved. So the preposition you're going to use, the pronoun you're going to use will be different. So one another should be the correct thing to say. Number 3, it was such a long time since we left school that when we met again, we almost did not recognize ourselves. You hear this every day. You hear people talk like this, all right? As someone who is going to write examination, be careful of these errors, okay? Be careful, thoroughly careful of these errors. It should be, it was such a long time since we left school that when we met again, we almost did not recognize one another. One another because it's plural, okay? Number 3, using pronouns without antecedents. Using pronouns without antecedent. The antecedent of a pronoun should always be present in the context of its use. The exceptions are indefinite pronouns, which can be used without antecedents. The pronouns in the following typical sentences have no specified antecedents. The sentences are therefore faulty. Example, listen, they are calling you. And I mentioned that before. When you say they are calling, who are they? All right. They asked me to bring 2 bottles. Okay. That is a patient is talking to a nurse at a clinic, and you hear this kind of expression. They asked me to bring 2 bottles. They, who are they? Look at another example. Nurse, I have come for my injection. They wrote 5 injections for me. Nurse, I have come for my injection. They wrote 5 injections for me. All right, when you hear this kind of expression, you are confused, wondering, what are you saying? There is no antecedent at all. All right, so there should be antecedent. And by antecedent, we mean there should be a subject that will come previously before this type of expressions are used. Okay. Now, all right, what I was trying to explain is who is calling you? Who exactly asked the patient to bring 2 bottles? Who wrote or prescribed 5 injections for the patient? We do not know this because they, in each sentence, has no specified antecedent. When the antecedent is unknown or unimportant, it is better to recast the sentence. Look at this. Listen, you are being called. All right? Listen, you are being called. I was asked to bring 2 bottles. I was asked to bring 2 bottles. 5 injections were prescribed for me. So the next point is using the plural they for singular antecedents. I mentioned that before. When you use the plural they to indicate, singularity, is wrong. They are calling you, sir. Who? The principal is wrong. So don't make this kind of mistake. Using the contracted form, it, for the possessive pronoun, it. Please take note. Using the contracted form, it, for the possessive pronoun, it. This often brings confusion. Students cannot differentiate between this, it, and this, it. This is a contracted form, and this is a possessive form. All right? Look at this sentence. The dog lost its bone. Okay? It should be the dog lost its bone. So you have learned this today. As we end this class, I need you to go back to this and ensure that you study this over and over and over. All right? And when we come tomorrow, on Monday, we discuss a part 2 of this topic for better understanding. All right? Thank you so very much. As I said before, go over it again, read it to yourself, and see the examples that have been given, and then practice them. You'll be better with it. All right? See you on Monday. Thank you.